Last week I had a video where we are trying out the new products from the drugstore, and this week we are trying out the new products from Sephora and Ulta, or more like high-end things. I have things from Urban Decay, I have from Natasha Denona, Laura Mercier. We have a bunch of different things to try out. Some of them are first impressions, some of them are going to be second and third impressions. I'm just here to share my opinions about these products, whether or not I feel like they're worth picking up, but I always come back to you like a month later when I've been able to try out these products a little bit more, give you a full and thorough reviews of the things that I've been trying out. But I really wanted to dive in and do like a full face of like new products because I've been really intrigued. This is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Natural Dewy. I got this one in a mini, and this is in 3N Sand, which is described as a light medium with a neutral undertone. And I will say this one does work really good for my skin. I have used this with a gripping primer and with a mattifying primer, and that's worked absolutely beautiful. And I thought today I'll use it without a primer because I want to make sure that it actually works without a primer too, or at least like what are the best ways of using this one. Let me actually zoom in a bit so we can see something. Why don't we? This one is a little bit darker than my, wrong one, a little bit darker than my face, but it matches the rest of my body really, really well. And I'm pretty sure this one is described as a natural finish with a light coverage, and I 1,000,000% agree with that. It dries down, but not to a powdery finish, but it's definitely not sticky, dewy, or oily on the skin. And it does give, as you can see, like a light coverage. You can still see some of my pigment spots through, but it definitely evens out and gives you enough color and coverage for you to feel like you have something going on, but it's definitely not a medium or even close to a medium coverage. And even though it is a tinted moisturizer, I feel like it acts like a moisturizer that dries down and not one of those super heavy one that just sits on your skin. I feel like this one dries in, makes your skin look and feel hydrated, but still giving a more natural finish that looks like hydrated skin and not like oily, glossy, greasy skin. And for me, this lasted pretty much all day on me. I did not touch this up or powder or blot at all, and I was wearing this for 12 hours, but I did wear it once with a mattifying primer and once with a gripping primer. So I thought today we'll see how it behaves with me using it with no primer. But so far, so good. And I think this is, I'm fairly sure this is the newest version of their tinted moisturizer. I think they have one or two from before, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. I think it's performing really well. And I enjoyed that they had minis of it. And this is not a new concealer, but it's new to me. This is the Lancome All Over Concealer. I have it in 250. And you know what? I really, really enjoy this concealer. It is full coverage and it's somewhat self-setting and it doesn't crease on me. I'm 40 years old. I do have a lot of fine lines under my eyes, and I need something that is light, not thick, kind of a thin one, but I want something that is slightly self-setting without being drying. I'm gonna put a little bit here because I want to be lighter there. I'm using more concealer than I usually do, but not too much under the eyes. But I will say I've been extremely impressed with this concealer, like extremely impressed. It has quickly become one of my favorite concealers in my collection. I think it is quite honestly spectacular, and almost like, you know, punching yourself for being like, why didn't you try this sooner? I don't know. Lancome is just not one of those. Same with Laura Mercier. It's just not one of those brands that I try a lot. But when I do, I really enjoy their products, and it's making me be like, so what does a brand have to do for me to like try them out? Do you have any brands like that you don't normally like look for, but then every now and then you try something from them and you're really impressed and you're like, why do I keep overlooking this brand? For me, there is a bunch of more like old school legacy brands that are like that for me. Just Lancome and Laura Mercier being like one of them, but there are other brands like Dior, for example. I try something, I love it, but then I never really delve into the brand. Maybe it's the price. I don't think it's the price tag though, because I have no problem spending on makeup. I have no, like for me, I judge the makeup equally if it's expensive or if it's like inexpensive, but I think I judge it even more harshly if it's expensive, because I'm like, well, you better be worth the price tag in one way or another. And I do feel like there are some brands that really do live up to their price tag. But I never review drugstore makeup as being like good for the price. I still think it should be good makeup, because otherwise, like, what's the point? I am going to be using the Glam Light powder. It took me a really long time to get into this powder. Not because I think it's bad, but because I had so many other powders to try out. but I will say I've been really enjoying it. It's a really nice powder. And you get so much product. And it's a really like affordable one. And I do feel like it's making me look matte, but not crusty. And it did hold up really good on me. So yeah, I always like powder my T-zone because I get a really oily T-zone. There is no foundation that I can wear that doesn't require me to at least set down in my T-zone. That foundation does not exist. Okay, so before I finished up my brows, I also put some lip liner on. I want to try this new pen by Benefit. Remember how I said I got the Mighty Fine Brow Pen, and I was surprised because they had this brow microfilling pen from before, and I was like, wait, didn't they already have this? I felt like it was like deja vu. I do have both of them here, and I can tell you that this one has 3 brush tips and this one has 3 of those more nylon tips, and I will say that this one is a little bit more opaque than this one as well. This one is a little bit more sheer, so this one is better. You don't want it to be like a Sharpie when you draw them on, but you do need them to be somewhat opaque, otherwise it's not going to look like hairs. It's just, and if it's too liquidy, it's just going to bleed out. It's just going to look smudgy. So I will say I do think that this one works better overall, even though I didn't necessarily think that this one was bad. But I will also say that this one, it had nylon tips that resembles a felt tip but just doesn't fray like a felt tip do. So this one that has the brush tips one, it does give you more a finer, like a hair-like strokes basically. This one is also not in the same color. I think that this one is in light brown and the other one is in cool blonde, I'm pretty sure. Neutral blonde. So that of course also gives a difference in color, but it also, like when you swatch them next to each other, you can really tell how this one is more sheer, because the one that is brown, it looks like less pigmented than the one that is blonde. So let's see if we can do some hairs with this. It doesn't behave exactly like the NYX one, but of course it's not gonna do that either because it has 3 prongs. That did work pretty quickly. Did I like it? I'm gonna have to try this one out a little bit, but that was pretty quick and it's a pretty nice color. So okay, so far so good. You know what? Benefit, this might be good. I just need to practice a little bit more because I'm used to the ones that have like the 1 prong, of course. I also did buy the new gloss by Makeup by Mario. This seems so delicious. Look at this color. It is such a pretty color. It's so beautiful. I got the one in watermelon and I saw these in store as well when I had already bought mine, and I looked at the colors and I was like, okay, watermelon was a really good pick because this one is that like clear, milky, poppy, warm pink. It just smells a little bit like fudgy vanilla, but I'm so excited. Oh, this is gonna be great. The applicator has a divot in it, so it like holds some product. Was just me dipping in once. It definitely covered the lips, but I want a little bit more. I don't always do pinks, but when I do pink, I like something like this that is like a warmer, a little brighter, a little deeper pink. I'm not much for the cool tone pink, the baby pink, the powdery pink, the lavender pink. It's not for me, but this I can get on board with. I actually really enjoy. It's not sticky, it's not sticking together. It's definitely a little bit of a cushiness to it. It's not necessarily a thicker formula. It's not as thick as the Lawless gloss, which is a little bit thicker and a little bit more cushiony on the lips, but also not sticky. But it's still not a watery gloss. I do think that this is gonna probably disappear quicker than the Lawless gloss, but I don't think it's gonna, like, it doesn't have that watery formula, so it's gonna disappear like immediately. It's very comfortable on the lips. Okay, I like it. I'm just gonna quickly go in with a little bit of the Merit bronze. I've been very into the more sheer bronzer as of late. I'm just gonna go in on the stick and just do a little bit because we are gonna be trying the new highlighters by Urban Decay. I have already swatched these. I did buy them in 2 different colors. I bought one that is Space Cowboy, which is the more, I think it's called a sparkly formula. And then I got Golden Hour, which I think they described as a glowy formula. And when I swatched them side by side, because I was intrigued. I'm like, what is the difference? You can definitely tell it's not that there are visible like maybe it is more that it's like visible sparkle particles in the Space Cowboy, but it's not like craft glitter. It's definitely more sophisticated than that. And I am expecting Space Cowboy to look a little bit more like a wet look on the skin. And I also think the Glimmer formula, the one that I have in Golden Hour, which is way more golden than I thought it was going to be when I saw it online, but it's kind of interesting to have that kind of an undertone in a face highlighter too. I think that one would also work really good as an all over glow on the skin, or even as mixing in with your foundation in a way that I'm not 100% sure that the sparkly formula will work for that. But I'm excited to try these out because I love the Face Bomb foundation and I want to see if this one is good too. I also have a blush. This, okay, who remembers me trying out that red blush from Tarte that they said was going to be a glowy blush that was just like a red liquid lipstick but absolutely no sparkle particles? They did release more of the Shape Tape blush tape, and these are the more satin colors, and I got it in the shade. What is this shade? It doesn't say here. Satin Rosy Beige. I don't love these poofy ones, but I need to see if this is a better formula than that red one that they released. I'm squeezing it out here because that red one was like atrocious. So we just need to see what we're dealing with. It is definitely very pigmented, just like that red was, but this one you can blend. Oh, this is much better. That red one, I do agree that there definitely are blushes that should be too pigmented for my skin tone. I will be the first one in line to say that if a blush is too pigmented for me, it means that it's going to be great on a deeper skin tone. My main problem with that blush wasn't that. The main problem for me was that it was not a, I didn't think it was a blush formula. It was so pigmented and it blended out like a liquid lipstick. Like there was no sheerness to it. Like how are you supposed to blend that out on your skin when it just blends out into like a blob that dries down instantly as well? Like, again, like a liquid matte lipstick. And there was no shimmer to it, even though they swatch picture and the packaging clearly indicated there was going to be more of a shimmery formula. I just thought that color was just so weird with the formulation, with the color, with how it blended out. Yeah, sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, who is this for? And I just didn't think that was good at all. But this one is way better. Although, again, do I wish that this one came with a doe foot applicator instead? Definitely. That would have made so much more sense. But Tarte is still on the clicky stick train and they're still on the poofy squeezy tube things. And I don't know, maybe they're gonna, ride that train all the way into the sunset. Go right ahead. That looks really good without a highlighter on, I will say, but we are gonna add some, and I think we'll add a little bit of Space Cowboy, because now you have seen like, I don't want to say like comparisons, but you've seen them side by side so that you know what the difference between the glow, let's do like that, and the sparkle is. Because I was like, wait, what is the difference? I wanted to know, and now you know too. Here you can see that there's definitely a nice wet look to this. Like I said, I really think that this will look incredible on the skin as like a wet look. It's just that when you come really up close that you can see that there's a little bit of sparkle in it. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all like this. That actually looks really delicious. I'm pretty impressed. Okay. Like I said, the Face Bomb was one of my favorite products of 2024. If you've not tried that foundation and you want to try something full coverage, really, really love it. And this seems promising. I really want to mix this one with the Face Bomb. I will definitely do that before I review this one, just to see if those two products actually work together. One might not think that the Natasha Denona, what is this one called? Mini Eye Sculpt palette was going to be perfect for me. But I love the Mini Xenon so much. It is my most used mini palette from Natasha Denona. But I've said a couple of times that the three shades that are in the middle of the Mini Xenon palette, I don't use that much because they're grays and I never use grays. There's a silver, that one I do like. But this one that has like an almost white, a black, and three just neutral browns in the middle, all matte palette. This is going to be my perfect travel companion because when I want to have something to deepen up, to lighten up, to ground the look with some browns, this is is perfect to mix with everything, and I am so excited to be trying this out. I hope this is the normal great Natasha Denona quality. I'm gonna put some eye primer on, and we're actually gonna be using this one together with the Light Scatters multichrome palette that Cleona did together with Millie from Bad to the Brow. I have not tried this palette yet, and I thought that this would be a perfect, because we have one all matte palette and we have one shimmer palette, and I thought it would be perfect to mix them together. There were a couple of palettes that came in late in December, and I just was not able to include them in my yearly, because I do a review roundup where basically I rank all the palettes that were released and that I tried throughout the year, and I rank all of them and let you know which ones are my favorite. And this one from Cleona was one of those. I think it either arrived just as I was filming that ranking, so I didn't have time to review it because clearly I have to review the palettes before I can rank them, or it arrived just after I had already filmed the ranking. So I couldn't include it, but I will include it in next year's ranking instead, together with some other palettes that were left out because they came in a little later and I had already filmed it. But I'm very excited to try it out. I love Cleona's quality, and I'm excited to see what Millie has created. I'm not the person that is super excited about an all shimmer palette, but at least this one is pretty small, and I am excited to see again what this is going to be. I don't know exactly what shade we're going to go with, but I think we'll. So I also have the brushes that came with this collection. I really like the detail brushes. I don't know how I feel about this one. I think that this one is a little bit too flimsy to be perfect for me, but I might try this one out with the matte shadow. And they also had a Shine On Shimmer Shadow Enhancer, part of their collab. And I thought we tried this one too. Is this like a, I'm not even, well, we'll try this one too, because I already know how the Cleona shadows, like how they perform. So I'm not too worried about the quality. It's more about the colors. I'm gonna start with the middle color and this brush here. And yeah, this one is a little bit too flimsy to be perfect for me, but we all have different preferences when it comes to brushes. I do think that the detail ones seem absolutely up my alley and amazing. I'm gonna do this one in the entire crease, and I think we're gonna do a little bit of a halo eye today to really accentuate the shimmer in the middle of the eye. But I think I'm gonna do halo eye where I still have this middle color connecting in the center as well. I'm gonna do this smaller brush that is a little bit fluffy, and I'm gonna use that exact same color under the eyes too. And then we're gonna use the second darkest, the brown one, the dark brown, and we are gonna start building the halo. So I'm gonna do an EO2, and I'm gonna do the dark brown, and then I'll switch to an EO5 and do the black at the end. But I'm gonna build up in the outer corner. There's a lot of kick up actually in the pen from this one. And sometimes Natasha Denona does have shadows like that. Oh, that actually looks really pretty. Let me see if we can get a little bit, not in the inner corner here, but like on the inner part of the lid. And I also try to not take mine too far up because I feel like it closes off my eye completely. I'm gonna use some of that dark brown with this very detailed brush. This is delightful. I'm gonna put that on my lower lash line. So far, I'm really enjoying this little eyeshadow palette. I kind of wish one of them, let me see if I can get an EO5. I kind of wish one of them would have been like one of those cream to powder, but it's fine. I'm gonna do the black now on an EO5, and we are just gonna do a little bit. Oh, this is kind of pigmented, but we're just gonna do a little bit out here. Ooh. And just a smidgen in here. Okay. This would be so pretty with just this like almost white color in the middle and just call it a day. Like that would be such a great look, but we are definitely doing a shimmer. Let me do a little bit of the black just in the outer corner here. And with this flat brush, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of the almost white in the inner corner. I prefer having these kind of colors in my inner corner. It's just a personal preference. With these, like, this one is a little bit too detailed to be good with inner corner. I'll do my E1 instead. I'm gonna use that for the shimmer instead. I think it's better for that. But I like a super bright inner corner, but it also looks really good with these halo eyes to just take it around as well. That flat brush that I was using, that wasn't great for the matte shadow. I am sure it's going to be great with the shimmers in the middle here to be like super detailed. Okay, there is some really cool shadows in this one, and ooh, what do I want to do? I kind of want to try this one that is like so intensely like yellow, gold, pink, purple. I'm very intrigued by that one. Let's start with this one then. I have no idea how to use this, but let's just put some on in the middle. And then that second color in the palette, and let's just, ooh, yeah, it's purple in the front, but then you have that yellow. That is so cool. So I'm just packing it on where we put that sticky little primer. That's so cool. And then I'm gonna fade it in over the dark brown to make sure that we don't get something that's too shoppy. I mean, that is looking so cool. And look at how yellow that is. Okay, that's actually very, very impressive. That shadow, I think is my favorite in this entire palette. It is stunning. I actually have this new mascara that I got from one of my favorite brands, Gourmande Girls, and I'm very excited to try this out. This has a plastic wand, which I absolutely love. So we are gonna be trying out this mascara. I'm excited. Works really good on my lower lash line. Let's see if we can curl the lashes a little bit and do the top as well. Okay, I can already tell you that this is my favorite indie mascara that I've tried. There's been some decent ones, but I really like this one. This brush is really gripping on to the hairs and like really helping with the curling. And it is not too dry of a formula, not too wet of a formula. And I think that one looks pretty good, right? I think that is really nice. And it's only one coat. I gotta say, look at how the mascara just, I like it lifting and elongating mascara, and I think this one is really nice. If you're making an order from Gourmande Girls and you like the same mascaras as me, I think you would enjoy this one. Good job, Christina. I'm very impressed with this one. I'm gonna put something in my waterline. Do I want to put something yellow or purple? I'll figure that out, and I'll probably put on a half lash too because I want to be super fancy today, and then we can just, I don't know, have a chat about these products. Which ones I really loved. So that is the finished look with all the makeup on. And I feel like this is, again, maybe 2025 is the year of neutrals with a twist. Spicy neutrals. Spicy neutrals? Is that a thing? Because look at that. It's neutral. It's a halo eye. It's sexy. But it has that purple with the yellow flip. Look at that. Oh, so cool. Absolutely loving it. I think it's super pretty. I think so far, my favorites, I like the gloss. Is it going to be a favorite? Time will tell. But I like how it looks and I like how it feels. I really enjoy the palette. I think I'm going to have so much fun with this palette. I do wish one of the shades were a cream to powder, but that's just me going into absolute nitty gritty. I do actually really, really enjoy it. I really love the mascara. I don't want to say I didn't think I was going to love it, but I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I do. I think this mascara is really nice. I'm very excited to keep using this one. And I gotta say, the tinted moisturizer, like, it is such a nice one. It feels like skincare, but it's like not too much. It doesn't feel greasy or oily or sticky or overly dewy. It just feels like a moisturizer, but it has a light coverage and not like a sheer coverage. And I really do enjoy it. And overall, I think the cheeks are looking really beautiful. Is this a must-have blush? Not really, but at least it's better than that red blush that we tried, because that one was no good. And I do enjoy the look of the Urban Decay highlighters. I just need to try them out a little bit more and see Will they be a favorite? How can I mix them? I need to mix them with blush as well, like matte blush, and see how they work. Need to mix them with foundations. But my first initial impression is that I like them, and that I like that they came in 2 different finishes, a shimmery one and a glowy one. I think that that is really smart. But let me know if you tried any of these products. Let me know if there's anything that you would like me to try for a future product. I'm always open for suggestions, but I try to not try every new product on the market. I only try things if I actually really think that I'm gonna enjoy them. If you want to see more about the things that I'm talking about, everything is gonna be down in the description box. If you left a like or a comment, thank you so much for helping out my channel. And if you want to see more videos from me, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon in a new video. Bye!